Well, intriguing, definitely. Hundreds of Beavers, which is a black and white oddball comedy co-written and directed by Mike Cheslick. It looks like an old 20s, 30s slapstick silent film, although it has sort of non-verbal sound, sort of weird sound effects. It also has shades of Guy Maddin, who's the kind of the mad Winnipeg auteur. So co-writer Ryland Brixton Colchews is this drunken 19th century applejack salesman who finds himself in conflict with hundreds of beavers after they eat the supports off this giant keg, which then rolls into his fireplace and explodes. And if you think that doesn't make much sense, wait for the rest of the film. He wakes up in the winter snow. He's starving. He makes several failed attempts to catch food. He becomes a trapper. He engages in a series of slapstick encounters with the local wildlife. The local wildlife, all of whom are played by people in animal costumes. Do you remember the Dom Jolly show, Trigger Happy TV?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. You remember there was a regular recurrent sketch in it, which was people dressed as bunnies and people dressed as cats,
and squirrels,
getting into fights.
Yes.
Yeah, squirrels, but doing completely inappropriate things in public, right? Well, then reimagine that as a Buster Keaton 1920s slapstick serial comedy short, and then take that and reinvent it as a level jumping Super Mario style video game, and then take that and get Guy Maddin's wackier twin to direct it. And that is kind of what Hundreds of Beavers is like. And I know that you now have a very clear picture in your head of what the film's like. It was shot over 12 weeks. It was on a budget of $150,000. The previous film that the pair made cost $7,000, and the visual effects were done on Adobe. So Adobe After Effects, a real homemade affair. I mean, at times it's like a kind of live action Looney Tunes animation, although it's a lot more loony, and it's got great tunes incidentally by Chris Ryan is the composer. It premiered at Fantastic Fest in 2022. It's gone on to play lots of genre festivals like Fantasia and Sitges. It had a one night only release this week, but there are promises of further screenings, and of course it will also be available to stream. It's really, I mean, it's very entertaining. As somebody who sort of is a big fan of slapstick, and we'll talk about this again when we talk about Despicable Me, it's genuinely quite bananas, and it is genuinely quite funny. And the strangest thing about it is that in the middle of all this old 1920s slapstick style stuff, there's an awful lot of jokes about modern video games. So I enjoyed it. It's not for everyone.
Is it kind of family fare, or is it kind of too risque for that?
Well, the BBFC says 12A for moderate sex references and comic violence.
Actually, there's an email here from Jai who says, I just saw this film and loved it, although I'm generally easily pleased by most movies, so I wondered what a more critical and professional opinion of the film would be. Well, that's it. It's like watching a live-action cartoon. It has a fairly simple plot that really just the excuse for a string of slapstick cartoon violence scenes, but like watching a good Bugs Bunny or Roadrunner cartoon, it was a thoroughly enjoyable 100 minutes. I laughed aloud multiple times and chuckled for much of the rest of the time. Hope everyone else enjoys this low-budget indie movie as much as I did. There you go.
Good. Very good. Yes, I think people will.